The MCU has serious respect for its source material, and it shows. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 Avengers movie moments ripped from the comics. For this list, we'll be looking at moments and concepts that appeared in Avengers movies that mimicked events and ideas from the comics. Please note, as we will be discussing moments from Avengers Endgame, there are major spoilers ahead.
I like this one.
Number 10. Hulk vs. the Avengers. The Avengers. In the comics, like in the MCU, Dr. Bruce Banner's gamma-irradiated other half is one of the original Avengers. Unfortunately, much like in the films, he proved to be something of a wild card and liability. The team assembled in 1963, only for Hulk to leave in the second issue after it becomes clear that his peers don't trust him. Hulk has squared off against his teammates repeatedly in the comics and films, but the on-screen instance that perhaps most immediately resembles the source material is the conflict that occurs in the very first Avengers comic when Loki manipulates Hulk into fighting his allies. The first Avengers film moved the action to the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, but the idea of Loki playing them off each other is very similar.
Did I hurt anybody?
Number 9. Thanos is coming. Avengers Infinity War.
What do you want? I wouldn't say no to a tuna melt.
In the first act of Infinity War, Hulk gets his butt handed to him by Thanos, but is sent to Earth by Heimdall to warn the Avengers of the Mad Titan's imminent arrival. Making quite the dramatic entrance, Hulk crashes through the iconic circular window of Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum in New York City, after which Banner declares, wide-eyed and terrified,
Thanos is coming.
Fans of the comics surely recognize this scene from Infinity Gauntlet number 1, in which the exact same thing occurs, just with Silver Surfer serving as the messenger. If only Marvel had reacquired its characters sooner. Number 8. Ebony Maw tortures Doctor Strange. Avengers Infinity War.
In all the time I've served Thanos, I have never failed him.
Speaking of the Sorcerer Supreme, Infinity War featured another scene that paid homage to the comics. While we can only assume that the good doctor appreciates the Russo brothers' reverence for the source material as much as the fans, something tells us that he would have preferred they adapt a less painful moment. After being captured by Ebony Maw and taken aboard his ship, Doctor Strange finds himself restrained and at the mercy of the sadistic servant of Thanos, who uses microsurgery needles to agonizing results.
And any one of them could end your friend's life in an instant.
I gotta tell you, he's not really my friend.
In the 2013 comic book event, Infinity, Maw similarly tortures Doctor Strange in his quest to secure the Doctor's stone for his master. Number 7. Professor Hulk. Avengers Endgame.
Dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the wizards.
I'm sorry. Either I can't or he won't. I don't.
Hey, stand down.
To say that Bruce Banner and the Hulk have a complicated relationship would be a gross understatement. Throughout the history of the MCU, we've seen them go through major ups and downs, with Banner trying to suppress Hulk, learn to control him, and repeatedly lose to the Green Goliath. After his trouncing at the hands of Thanos, Infinity War even saw the Hulk refuse to come out.
Hulk, we got a lot to figure out, pal.
Considering how bad they were doing in the 2018 film, the last thing fans expected was to see the unification of Hulk and Banner. But hey, Endgame was indeed full of surprises.
I put the brains and the brawn together, and now look at me. Best of both worlds.
Professor Hulk, as he's been dubbed, is basically Bruce Banner's intelligence in Hulk's body, and this merged Hulk is taken straight from the comics, where he debuted in The Incredible Hulk number 377. Number 6. Hawkeye becomes Ronin. Avengers Endgame.
Look, I just need to know, because the city is flying. Okay, look, the city is flying. We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Clint Barton is a character who has too often been shortchanged and sidelined in the MCU. Sure, he might not have the powers or a fancy suit, but the character is extremely compelling and something of a fan favorite, with Marvel devotees regularly campaigning for him to get more screen time or even his own solo features. In Endgame, after being entirely absent from Infinity War, Hawkeye finally underwent a transition into Ronin, one of his alter egos from the comics.
You lost friends. You lost family. We lost a part of ourselves.
Barton first took up the mantle of the Ronin identity in New Avengers Volume 1, number 27, though we wouldn't learn his true identity for a few issues. As Ronin, like in the film, Barton wields a sword and leans more into his martial arts skills. Number 5. Cap's Shattered Shield. Avengers Endgame. In both the comics and the films of the MCU, Captain America's shield is often depicted as being nearly indestructible. But in Endgame, Thanos really puts an emphasis on the word nearly by smashing it to bits. Despite having previously been tested by the Mad Titan during the events of Infinity War, Cap once again stands tall and dukes it out with Thanos, taking a serious beating that reduces his iconic shield to a half circle of scrap metal. This is Steve Rogers we're talking about though, so you can bet that he keeps getting up. In the Infinity Gauntlet story arc in the comics, Thanos similarly destroys Cap's shield, though in the source material, the encounter proves a fatal one for Rogers. Number 4. Cap's Hail Hydra, Avengers Endgame. Considering how incredibly controversial it was for Marvel to make Captain America an agent of Hydra, we have to commend the Russo brothers for finding a way to make reference to it in a way that very few fans could take issue with. In the pages of the Secret Empire storyline, it was revealed, much to the shock and dismay of fans everywhere, that Captain America was a Hydra sleeper agent. With 2 little words, Hail Hydra, the world of Marvel Comics was turned upside down, at least temporarily. So when MCU Cap travels back in time, armed with the foreknowledge that Hydra is operating within S.H.I.E.L.D., he utters the same 2 words to manipulate his enemies. Well played, Cap. Number 3. Old Man Rogers, Avengers Endgame. Endgame, true to its name, really delivered a sense of closure for a number of characters. In Steve Rogers' case, it was thankfully a happy ending, with him traveling back in time to live out the life that was taken from him, a lifetime of happiness with Peggy Carter.
Are you ready for our dance?
We learn about this from Cap himself, who, after disappearing into the past, is next seen as an elderly man sitting on a bench. Though the setup is rather different, comic book readers had already met Old Man Rogers in 2014 when an encounter with Iron Nail robbed him of his super soldier serum and age caught up with him. Like in the film, Steve's comic book counterpart similarly passed the mantle of Captain America on to Sam Wilson. Number 2. Cap wields Mjolnir, Avengers Endgame. To wield Thor's magic Asgardian hammer, Mjolnir, one must be worthy. And really, is there any other Marvel superhero more well-intentioned, pure of heart, or worthy than Steve Rogers? At the end of the second Avengers film, during a moment of bonding, the heroes all attempted to lift Thor's hammer, the god of thunder confident that none could. But when Steve touched it, the hammer moved, ever so slightly.
Nothing.
Ever since, fans have been anxiously awaiting the moment when Cap would wield Mjolnir, just like he did in the comics. Cap managed to wield Mjolnir a few times in the comics, but the one that came to mind when fans saw the film occurred during the crossover event Fear Itself, when Steve picked up Mjolnir and assembled the Avengers in an epic battle for the fate of the world.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Not quite at the end yet. Almost there though. Just be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. Alright, back to business. Number 1. Tony wears the gauntlet. Avengers Endgame. Like we were saying, Endgame was indeed the end of the road for a number of our beloved Avengers. And while Iron Man received a hero's farewell worthy of his character and the development he's undergone over the years, it wasn't an easy scene to watch.
I hope they remember you.
In order to save the universe, Tony dons his own version of the Infinity Gauntlet and snaps Thanos back to his own timeline/reality. Though it was an incredibly emotional and intense scene, this wasn't the first time that Tony has worn the gauntlet, having previously used it in 2010's Avengers number 12. Like the film, Tony uses it to send the villain away, though unlike in Endgame, the cost isn't nearly as great. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.